Hello everyone, welcome to my live stream. My name is Denise Hutchins and I'm broadcasting to you from Studio Mikarts. Our charity of the month is Food Empowerment Project, and you can help me help them help the animals by donating to our fundraiser here on Twitch, visiting their website, which I posted in the chat, or simply by watching my streams and bringing your friends, because I'll be making my own donation at the end of the month, which is coming up soon, based on my unique viewers count. If you enjoyed today's stream, please support my creative work by becoming a Twitch subscriber to remove ads and get cute emotes, joining my Patreon to get illustrated postcards and prints in the mail, or sending me some creative fuel through Buy Me a Coffee. Links to all these are in my Twitch About section or in the YouTube description if you're watching the recording. Today is, Wednesday? I think today is Wednesday, which means it's time for illustration, and I'm getting back to work on my Onomatopoeia bees piece. Onomatopoeia. That's what somebody said. Onomatopoeia. So, what I wanted to do, yesterday we divided all the lines onto their own separate layers. Now I want to put certain lines on layers together. The biggest one I'm thinking of is these buds, because none of the buds are actually touching each other. So they can all go on their own layer and they won't be affecting each other when I color the lines. So I can color the lines of one and not worry about being anywhere near the lines of the other one if I want it to be a slightly different color. And then that way it's a little easier for me to deal with mentally, because I won't have as many layers staring me down, because there's like several dozen layers now in this file. That also makes the file smaller, which just means it's easier for my PC to handle, takes up less storage space. So what I think is important is to make sure that they will still be on the right layer, as far as we've got bees, flowers, and then bees underneath. So certain things need to be under other things. That's why I've got this upper bees folder above all of these blooms and buds, and then I have the lower bees folder. So there's a similar consideration to be made for these buds, but they might be fine because I think they're all either under a bloom or completely not even touching a bloom, so it doesn't matter. So let's see. Blooming buds. So we'll leave blooming buds to be, we'll treat them like the fully bloomed flowers. So here's our first bud down here. So it's definitely needs to go below. And then we've got buds here. This also needs to go below. And then this bud here, which also needs to go below. So I think if I, at the very least, combine these three layers, it'll be fine. Because they all need to go underneath the related bloom layers. So all I'm going to do is Control G, I think. No, Control E. Control E. So now, just gonna call this buds. Buds. I'll call it buds under flowers, because there is one more bud here, but it's part of the isolated flower lines because it's not touching anything else. So this spent flower, and let's see, this one here, this one in the upper left, those are all on a layer together already. So we'll put some buds under blooms. Get a nice sip of my delicious, what is it, Olipop? Olipop root beer. Yummy, yummy, yummy. Okay. Now blooms, these two are already, I was keeping them on their layer together, thinking that it won't be too hard to either take them apart later or just color knowing that they are connected. This one's just on its own, so it could actually now go up with the isolated flower lines. Or I could put these ones together. Let's see. So that one and that one. Those could technically go on a layer together. So I guess I'll turn off the isolated flowers so that I don't have to think about them. Someone's making a whooping sound like a monkey outside. Yeah, I might keep the blooming buds on their own layers. Okay, we'll turn off the buds because I dealt with them. So there's just two groups of flowers now that I have to consider. I have taken them apart onto their own layers. I have to consider if I want them to be just their own layers or merge them with other layers. It's feeling like at least the left lower ones can go together. These three here. So let's put those together for now. We'll put it left, mid, and low. Wait, and it should be called blooms, so that I know that there's multiples. So now these are all on the same layer together. Well, finally just saw your message. I don't know how long ago it came in because I'm thinking so hard, but don't be alarmed, but the dog swapped beds. Isn't it weird? I don't know why it's ended up this way. I just walked in and I realized, oh, Aoife's in the small bed, and the big dog's in the small bed. So Aoife doesn't get up as often as Chappie, so Chappie keeps getting up anytime I get up, but since Aoife stays in the small bed, Chappie is like, well, I guess I just go to the big bed today. So that's what that is. And I had to adjust the camera up there for Chappie because her head was... her body wasn't even in the camera because she's so small. So I had to completely turn it the other direction. How are you, Wolf? Thank you for joining me. Oh, you can't even see it because my cursor is so small, but trust me, I'm waving at you with my cursor. Hope you're having a great day. It is Wednesday, right? I still can't. I think it's Wednesday. Okay, it's Wednesday. Hope you're getting through hump day all right. Looking forward to the downhill Thursday, Friday, and a wonderful weekend. Okay, so now I've put all the left blooms except for the one that was already on this isolated flowers. And frankly, I could probably take some of these isolated flower lines and just say left blooms and have them all in their own layer. That's more logical to me. Isolated flower lines takes a lot more mental power to think about what does that mean as far as what flowers does that represent. So what I'm going to do is just lasso these ones. And I think that's it for the ones that are on the left, that aren't sandwiched in the middle. Oh, yeah, I bet that's what's happening with me. When I started streaming yesterday, too, I was like, I think it's gotta be Tuesday. Yeah. Oh, it's a boring day. Yeah. It can be hard to get through hard to get through those boring days because they're so long. And it's like, isn't it done yet? And you keep looking at the clock. Or at least that's how boring days have been for me. Going all the way back to elementary school and you're just watching. And you see, I still have a burnt in visual image in my brain of those school clocks and the second hand. Tick, tick, tick. And what the image is always the second hand when it's ticking down the last seconds until you can finally leave. Until the bell finally rings. And I can see it. I can see it with my mind's eye. It's so boring. Okay, let me make sure which flowers I took out. So that seems right. I'm going to turn all these other ones off. I'm going to turn off the bees too. There's a lot of logic happening right here and it's kind of hard to think about. Okay. So blooming bud we don't need and we don't need the big, so yes, this is what I wanted. So these are all going to be on a layer together. So we'll group those. Dang it, I lost my, okay, this one needs to go on the top. It takes the title from the one on the bottom. I need to remember that somehow. Now. And later, if I decide to, I may move this onto its own layer if it seems like it needs to, but I didn't move it onto its own layer yesterday, so just gotta keep going with it like that. So now we will just call this blooms left. So now it's a lot easier for me to understand what this layer contains and what it represents. Okay. So, got the buds under blooms. I'm still having to consider the layering because certain layers I want to keep under other layers. But putting all of these left ones onto the same layer was fine because the only ones that are overlapping each other weren't taken apart in the first place. And then I still have this buds under blooms is on a layer underneath this. Let's see. So we're still good there. Is that the pigeons talking? I'm not sure what was being captured, but it was probably the neighbors revving up their bike. I don't know why they have to draw it out for so long. But there was a mourning dove cooing outside at the same time, so it would be incredible if what you heard was the pleasant sound of a mourning dove communicating instead of that flatulent sound of the motorbike revving up. The pigeons are actually, oh, they're straight above but behind me. They're in the room above me but also behind me. So we probably wouldn't hear them in here. I hear them when I'm in the den though, because the den is below the pigeons and it travels, and Kumo goes woo woo woo, like whenever he's feeling really like he's either, I call it his confident noise because he seems to do it whenever he's happy or when he's feeling bossy or when he's like ruffled up for whatever reason, and you can hear it through the through the vents. Okay, so we've dealt with the blooms on the left, so I'm just going to turn that off so I don't have to think about it, because there should be no more overlapping issues. So I do think I want the big bloom to be its own layer. It's just so big. I feel like for some reason mentally that just helps me. Just let it be. Just let it be its own thing. But here we've got blooming bud center up, and we've got some other blooming buds. But these two I specifically separated onto their own layers. But I called this one bloom. So maybe we can put the blooming buds all on their same layer together. So that would be leaving that one on its own. So blooming buds center up plus Okay, we're turning that one off. I don't think, it does not seem to matter what layer the buds are in relation to the blooming buds, so we won't worry about that. Bloom right down. So maybe I'll make a right blooms layer for that one. Blooming bud, right edge. Alright, so it seems like the only thing I want to do is take this from the isolated flower lines, because this is also... it's hard! It's a blooming bud, but it's just barely starting. Well, it's a blooming bud. We're going to put it on Control X, Control Shift V, paste in place, and we're going to put this together too. So blooming bud and blooming bud, this one. So all three of these are going together. Blooming buds. So blooms left. Bloom big center up. We'll just call it big center because I don't think we need to differentiate between up and down. Buds under blooms. Those are still good. Then we've got bloom right down and bloom right edge. I'm thinking that maybe we can do the rest of the isolated flower lines with these two. But this blooming bud is on top of this one, so maybe not. Let's see. Yeah. This one has to stay underneath. But this has to stay on top. But maybe it doesn't matter, because the only blooming bud... It's like putting a puzzle together. I'm just trying to organize it so it's more easy for me to understand. And that's why it's a puzzle. It's like, how can I understand what I've done here? So that I don't have to navigate. All this effort now is saving me a lot of time and trouble later. Okay, so it doesn't seem like a problem that the rest of the isolated flower lines would go underneath anything else. So I'm going to drag that down. Well, they just need to stay... Changed my mind. Wait, yes. They can go down because... Yes, it's just these three on the side. So as long as they're below those upper B's, that's all that matters. Okay, so those can go down. Bloom on the right edge needs to stay below the blooming buds, which it is. Bloom right down. Oh, this one actually needs to go above the buds under blooms. That was out of order. Okay. So if I move the buds under blooms below these, yeah, they're not touching any of these layers except for that one that I just moved. So we'll just move this all the way to the bottom and we'll combine these three. And it will become right. It'll be blooms right. Okay. Let me make sure though by turning off everything else. Yes. Okay. So let's combine them with a Control E. And we'll call it blooms right. So now we've gone from however many layers we had down to a tight 5. This is much better. They're ordered in a way that's logical so that the ones that are overlapping are higher up on this list. The bees, though, I feel like just keeping the lines separate because all the color layers are separate. And I'm going to make separate color layers for the flowers too, but I'll think about the bees later. Let's focus on the color for now. On the flowers for now. And on the flower colors. So I have the colors for the bees done. Isolated flower colors. So what I did was move the... Well, it's not turning off though. Isolated flower. Oh, did I not actually put anything on this layer? I guess that must be the case because nothing's happening when I turn off. Unless, oh, I turned this off. Oh, okay. I see what I did. I copied instead of cut the colors. So actually I'm going to delete this because we'll go back to this flat flowers layer. And now that we've sorted out the lines so that we just have nice 5 layers for the lines for the flowers, we're going to divide the flower colors similarly. What's the matter, Choppy? What is it? For some reason, Choppy is whining. You can see her head's right in the camera. Huh. I just realized my door is partially open. Let me close it real quick. It's probably the wind because I have the window open. So it's probably opening and closing my door. Better to latch it because sometimes a big gust comes in and it slams the door and it scares the crap out of everybody. So we will avoid that. So I'm just going to make 5 copies. I'm going to do this a slightly different way than I did the lines. Make 5 copies. And I'm just going to name them to match. So buds under blooms. And now we can see which lines remain and we can just delete anything that is outside of that. Gotta remember that the lasso doesn't get everything along the edges. So first using the lasso to get most of it. We'll deselect and we'll take the brush, put it on clear mode, and make it real big. And make sure to erase the edges because I found yesterday that it doesn't actually get all the pixels along there for some reason. Of course, I'll come in and put a stroke layer on it. I lost my stroke layer when I was messing around with the lines, but we'll bring that back to double check. Okay, I'm gonna make the background color different because I can't see. Let's put some nice little gray color on here. Just a placeholder color so I can see what I'm doing. Let's see. I don't need to erase everything. Oops. On the wrong layer. Oh, I can change the turnaround pressure size. I don't have to erase everything because this is the lowest level of these color layers. But less data means the file is easier to handle, takes up less space. My current PC is pretty good, so it's not a big concern now, but I've gone through so many computers and I always try to wait in as long as possible. Try to save money before getting a new one. So I want to make it easy on this computer as it ages. As necessary, I will add back in as I move forward with this piece, but for now, just erase what seems good. Time to add a layer style, stroke. Oh, look at that. Why, lasso? What the heck? What the heck? It's like it didn't actually fully erase anything and it's all... It left a line. What the heck? Why? Look at... It left a bunch of pixels where there weren't even pixels. I don't understand. I don't understand it. Fine, I'll just use a really giant brush. There is something weird with the lasso tool and delete function. Right, whatever this is, there's data here, there's information here. Maddening. Mysterious. What the heck? What the heck? I don't understand what this is. Oh. Did I fill this in with green again? That's what it is. What? Alright. That's what the mystery thing is. I have to go back. How did that happen? At some point I managed to fill this. Oh, is it because of the way the blending tool works? It won't... The way the brush blending works, it won't... Oh, it was on normal. Okay, this is my bad. My bad. I have to go back like crazy. I thought it was still on clear. I specifically changed it to clear, but apparently it got changed back to normal. I guess when I changed the brush from my ink brush to the round hard brush. Did I get rid of it all or is there still? Okay. Okay, let's do this again. Take two. Wow. Okay. Clear. We want blending mode clear, please. Thank you. I didn't realize it would change the blending mode when I changed the brush. Okay, this is not adding green, is it? Okay. Traditional media is so much easier to deal with. Ah, no! Don't do that. It says I'm using my mouse. Feels like it would be easier to use my mouse, but it's harder to control. But I want access to my keyboard at this stage. Okay, let's keep going, let's keep going. Did I get the edges good too? Any remaining extra pixels? don't see any. There's some great birds outside. They're going to beep boop, ba beep boop, beep boop. Love all the different birds we have here. I don't even know half of them based on their sounds. There's some I've learned because they're so distinct that I'm like, I have to find out what this bird is. What is it that makes this wonderful sound? That's how I learned about black-capped chickadees. It's so hard to say the name. Black-capped chickadees. It's because I heard one day. Really caught my fancy. And I am not the only person. I have heard other humans outside. Just, I have my window open and I hear other people. When you hear the black-capped chickadee, it's such a distinct sound and it's really easy to imitate. So whenever I hear it and I'm walking, I often imitate it. Because it goes, here kitty. And I've heard other people doing that too. Other human people outside my window. Like, I'm not the only one enchanted by the chickadee. When I found out what it was, I was so excited. I looked up what kind of food do they prefer? What kind of bird seed can I get them to try to attract them? And one of the things I learned was they like the black sunflower seeds. I think it's what it's called. It's definitely a type of sunflower seed. So I got a big bag of black sunflower seeds just specifically to try to attract it. Black-capped chickadees. And then that was great because I had that bag ready to go when I found Sora in distress a few years ago on one of my lilac trees. So I had something to feed her right away while I figured out what to do with her. Okay, that's much better. No big mystery swirl everywhere. Still, it's so good that I put this stroke on the outside because I wouldn't have noticed as soon that I had messed up. But by putting this on there, I immediately saw there was something wrong. Of course, my first assumption was that Photoshop was doing it wrong, but either way, it helped me avoid a bunch of work later. So this layer is finally done, yay! And I don't even see any extra pixels around the edge. So now we'll name this one the next thing, Blooms, right. Turn it on. We'll turn off these other ones. We don't have to worry about them. So now we know which ones we can erase and which ones we're going to keep for the color layer. Could have done the lasso this time too, but I already had it on this tool, so just do this tool. It's too many options sometimes. It's too many options and it's overwhelming. So just do whatever I'm working with. Just keep using it. Okay. Now we shall zoom in and fine tune this. It's nice this Dr. Seussy puffy one is just all ready to go. Okay. Bring this effects layer over. It's funny, I wonder if it's one of those mockingbird type birds that we have. I think someone said they were starlings. I wonder if starlings do that kind of thing. But the sound it's making now sounds a lot like that motorcycle earlier that was revving up forever. Because it keeps going boop, 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 boop. It's very cute. Okay, this layer's done. So now it's the blooming buds layer. So we can turn off that which we are not using now. Ooh, it sounds like the street sweeper is coming along. I love the street sweeper. I don't know why. It's so fun. I love to watch it. Like if I wasn't streaming right now, I would get up and go to my front of my house so that I could watch. I like to watch. I like to watch it moving along and cleaning the streets. It's just calm and peaceful. The sound of it is kind of relaxing. The water rushing, and it moves slowly along the street in a sort of coordinated pattern. At least I can hear it. I can hear it right now. The whoosh of the water and the hum of the machinery. I can also hear woo, woo, woo. So that's probably like the suction or something. I'm not sure what all the sounds are, but it's like the ice cream truck, but instead of ice cream, it's cleaning my environment, which is even better. Oh, now it's beeping. It must be backing up. I had to back up to really get some spot real good. It's like white noise too. It's not just the idea of it, but the white noise alone from the street sweeper is so pleasant. It just relaxes me. Okay, drag the effects layer and take a look. Okay, next one. Bloom, comma, big center. this one actually will be easier if I use my tablet. Okay, I'm going to do that hybrid thing I figured out yesterday where I sort of bring my tablet forward but still have it on the desk so that I can reach easier but also access my keyboard. Using my stylus reminds me that my replacement nibs for it have been delayed even further. They were delayed yesterday, and now apparently they haven't even shipped because it says we'll let you know when they've shipped. There's been another delay. Like, why did you say they've shipped in the first place then? Amazon telling me lies. I was hoping to have the nibs for today, and then when it said it was delayed yesterday, I was like, oh well, at least I'll have them for Thursday. But now I'm like, who knows when I'll have them because it says it hasn't even shipped and it's been days since I ordered them. If I was ordering from someone else and they had not given me a notification that it had shipped, that would be different. But I've got the Amazon Prime subscription, and these were supposed to be shipped via Prime, and I'm not getting my Prime service. So I'm not very happy about that. Just gotta keep doing my best with my current stylus nib. Try not to use a heavy hand so that I don't scratch my screen. So I can hear it. I can hear how this worn out nib sounds scratchy, like it's threatening. It's like it's saying, no, you think I won't do it? You think I won't do it? One wrong step, I'll show you what I'm made of. Which is now malformed plastic. Alright. Looks like some areas where I could add, but I guess it doesn't matter. So let's put this up here. Oh yeah, I did miss. Did miss a little bit. Otherwise, good. Save. Last one. Blooms left. Just checking the overlay to make sure I haven't erased anything that I didn't want to. Mostly here is where I'm a little worried that I might have erased something I didn't want to, but it doesn't seem like it. It doesn't seem like anything is changing right here. This is the full and complete layer, which I should make a copy of just to keep. I'm going to put Flowers Original Flat Color, and I'm going to put it into the old folder just in case I need that. Otherwise, especially let's take that lines off. Yeah, that's covered by ink, so that's fine. Okay, so the last one is Bloom's Left. Just going to erase everything over here. Don't need it. We also need to erase the buds so that those are showing. So I'm going to go to the buds layer, select like this, then select inverse, and I'm going to go to Bloom's Left and delete. Now, I should have mostly gotten rid of that, but there might be, let's see, what is, these all bees? Okay, that stuff is all covered by bees, so I don't need to worry about erasing that. Ooh, but I'm going to have to draw some stuff back in for this one and this one because it needs to be on top. Okay. Alright, so first what I'll do is I guess I'll color it in first. Okay, I'm going to move my tablet all the way down. This last layer is going to require the most work. Okay, tablet move. That's what that banging was. Also, I'm going to take another drink of my delicious root beer. Mmm, yummy. We're going to go in here and so we shouldn't have to do anything like that up here. Yeah. And not over there, but here because there's a bud in the background. Also, we've got all this extra stuff. Guess I'll take care of that first so it's not a distraction. Put that back and way smaller size. Let's get rid of this little edge. That is inexplicably always left. I don't understand it. All right. Where else is there something like that? Just in that bottom area. Well, I guess there's some. I think it's covered by a bee, but get rid of it. Okay, go down here. Get this too. Okay, now we're adding back. We need to get this color. Grab this color. Oh, where's my Alt button? Oh, I'm pressing the wrong button. That's why it's not working. There we go. And we're going to go from clear to normal brush mode. I'm going to do it over here too. This is actually going to make it way easier for later. Because having to do this kind of thing while I'm in the shading and highlighting mode is a little distracting because it's taking me out of shading and highlighting mode and back into flat color mode. So addressing it now is going to make it way easier on me later. I can turn the effects layer off and I'll turn it back on at the end. Got some awesome bird sounds outside right now. So nice. It's getting really warm though. It's starting to get so warm that I won't be able to keep my window open. But for now I can. I'm gonna enjoy it as long as I can. No, I'm going to change this. Hey, that looks pretty good. Maybe I want to take it down or something, do something a little different here. Not sure how well it gets caught by the microphone now that Aoife's on the other side of the room right now. But she's snoring away. You can see her all tucked up in the bottom puppy cam. Alright, that works. It does feel a little bit stunted, like right here, but it doesn't have to be perfect. Not every flower in nature is perfectly even and round and centered and symmetrical anyway. Alright, let's turn this back on. Wait, this is perfect timing. Let's go on break. It is exactly break time. Yay! I encourage everyone else to take this opportunity to stretch and refresh. I am going to put my Be Right Back sign on, and I'll be back in about 5 minutes. everyone, I'm back. I hope you had a great break. Here comes Aoife. She was getting some water, so actually I'm going to stand right back up and close the door. She needed a bunch of water. So the puppies are back in their normal beds. Oh, the camera is just focusing right on Aoife's butt. Let me move it. It's cute, but not as cute as her face. And a little face for you. Oh, it's hard to see. I have to go around the opposite side of my monitor to move. Well, you can sort of see. You can't really see her face. Maybe if you lay down, Aoife, then you can show your beautiful face to the world. Alright, well, that's good enough. Let's get back to work on this flower. Oh, well, you can see Eva's feet and her neck. Oh, you can kind of see her face. It's hard when I adjust the cameras at the beginning for one puppy. It's actually kind of awkward to get that camera to work. That puppy bed is so big, but it's under a desk, and the cable for the camera isn't that long. So there are only certain places I can put the camera. And then I need to put it in a place where the puppies don't kick it when they move about. That's what I found out last time, that Aoife kept kicking the camera and moving it when she'd change positions. It was so nice. I went outside for my break. I was eating my delicious cotton candy grapes and standing in the warmth. It's summer temperatures today. It's technically spring, but the summer temps are here. And I even stood in the sun. I try to avoid the sun, but it's pretty cold in the basement today, so it was nice to get warmed up for a couple minutes. A couple minutes won't hurt me. I've got enough natural skin protection against the sun's radiation for that. Alright. Okay, I think that's good. Turn this stroke effect back on. Double check for rogue pixels. I don't know. I don't think I need this bit here. Let me see. Yeah, it's covered by a B, so we're just going to erase this. Erase. There. Looks like I could tighten it up a bit. The only bad thing about going outside is that it activates my allergies. Even more than being in the house does with the window open. Yay! Now all the colors and the lines for the flowers are all on their own layers. Sweet. So we can start coloring now. I want to have my placeholder background turned on. I guess the lighting I'm going for is relatively diffuse, not a really strong source. I'm going to bring up some reference images on my phone using the iNaturalist app. Where was I storing that? Ah, images. Search wavy leaf thistle. This is a really nice photo. I think I'll go with this one. So it seems to have what I'm thinking of. It's kind of diffuse light where everything is well lit. There are shadows, but they're not really hard lined, hard edged shadows. They're soft. Okay. And the light just generally seems to be coming from the upper right. Is that what I want? It comes from the upper right. Let's turn on everything. Upper right would mean the butt of this bee is what is getting the light. So maybe it would be better if we had the light actually coming from the bottom. That way the heads of our main bees are being lit up. I'm gonna make a new layer. It's going to be called light direction. And now let's see, I need a completely different color. Have the light coming, let's see, I love it coming from this direction, so it will be hitting here, 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 This one's butt will be lit up. But it's not a main character, so it's not as weird for that to be the case. See, trying to keep the angle. Consistent as I draw these, as I hand draw all these lines. This is telling me where the light should be hitting everything. There's a kid outside making some banging and shouting noises. Also whistling. Trying to think of where to start. This will start with the flowers. Alright, so we'll make a new layer. This is shadow 1. Usually I do 2 to 3 shadow layers and then 1 highlights layer. So what I've done is clip that to the flat color layer, and now my color will be restricted by the pixels in the flat color layer. So I'm going to choose a shadow color. And it doesn't have to be too much darker. I'm going to try to make it cooler. And it feels like for this first pass, it might be easier if I just do a general... Right, it's the wrong side. If I do a general idea of where the shading would be, and then we'll add the details later. So something like that. Because the light's coming from this side, so the shadow would be somewhere around there. The same thing for this flower. And this one. There, see, that was totally worth it to put that flat color there. So it colored that, but not the bud part. The buds we're actually going to change to a completely different color. Right now I'm focusing on the flowers. I've got flower reference image up for these thistle flowers. Oh, that's it. I think, yeah, that's it for the blooms left. And since this one has a bee on it, it's actually going to be shaded by the bee itself. These other ones have bees next to them, but they're on a different plane. Bloomin' buds. Let's see. And buds under blooms. The bloomin' buds are gonna have to be a different color too, because they're halfway. So we're just gonna do blooms right next. Okay, can't avoid it. I need to find a bud photo. See what color it is. It's just green. I need to change him to green. This is a great photo. It's from the side, so it's not that great for the lighting, but it has buds in various stages of blooming, and ones that are fairly well bloomed. So it's mostly green. It looks like a tiny cactus. A tiny barrel cactus. So let's pick a green color that seems to work. Of course, we're going to go a little bit more vibrant than life. Maybe that. So the buds under blooms, we're actually going to lock the pixels and color them in. Especially these closed ones. They're almost entirely green except for little pricks of brown wherever they have a spike coming out, and then at the top is brown. So now the basic shadow color, they're going to need some more other colors, but that's probably good. Though I wonder if I should color in those other colors first, or just make those on a separate layer. Maybe I'll make them on a separate layer. I think this is taking a lot of brain processing power from me because I'm suddenly feeling extremely tired. That happens when I have to think really hard. And this one is right next to its little flower sibling. So maybe we'll do something like that. Maybe it can just be all the way dark. So we've got not only this flower, but this bee, and this bee blocking the light. Eva's having an eating dream. She's making eating motions with her mouth. Too bad she's facing away from the puppy cam. You can't see it, but I can see it clearly. She's facing my way. Oh, it's hard to decide how to address these ones that are partially bloomed. I think I'm going to have to make a whole separate layer. Oh, it's exhausting. It's exhausting. Maybe I can work on the parts that are just one thing. Get warmed up with that. And then I'll have the support of those being done. So So once those are done, they will be a visual support for imagining how the shading should go. So turn off the bees as well. At least for now, I'll turn them off. I think I should keep them on when I'm working on flowers like this, where there's a bee on top, because the bee will help define the shape of the shadow. But a flower like this one off in the corner, I can just work on that separately. What layer is this supposed to be? Color, shadow, blooms, left shadow. Must be that layer. Okay, root beer time. Mmm, delicious as ever. Now I am going to start shading more precisely. I think I'm going to add more and then I'll take away. I'm trying to figure out what will look good. Shade these little flowers. I like the idea of drawing in more flower shapes into the shading. I also like the idea of having these ones more fully lit among the shadows, but I'm having a hard time figuring out how to make that feel right instead of feeling really abrupt. This kind of loopy M shape seems to be the key to all the problems I've had with these. So I keep experimenting with that. Oh, squeaky chair. Let's pull back a little bit and see what's going on. So I'm getting there. The color seems maybe a little bit too dark though. It's actually a pretty strong contrast now that I have started working in it a little bit. So let's change that color. Otherwise, I'm happy with how it's going. Basically, we just want to lighten it a little bit. At this point, it should be a rather subtle change from bright to dark. So plus 35 lightness. I've got to do this on all the other layers too. Plus 35 lightness. Still feeling so tired. Maybe the relaxing outside is also part of the reason. Now this was a completely different color, so don't worry about that. Okay, we're going back to this one. Yes. What it seemed like when I zoomed out was the It's a little too far over on this side. So we need to bring back some of that lighter color. Oops, I am on the other color. I need to select the new color. Oopsie. Wrong button. There we go. There we go. I'm having to think very, very hard. That's why I've gone silent. I can't put any thought into anything other than, how's this working? What is it looking like? What is it doing now? This will probably be a pretty quiet stream for the rest of the stream, because I just gotta think. Well, I just got my 10-minute warning that there's only 10 minutes left in the stream, so hopefully it won't be too bad just hearing the scraping of my stylus on the tablet for that most of that time. And you can hear Eva snoring. It's looking better and better. It still feels a little too abrupt in the middle. Aoife's got some incredible snores going on. That one. Okay. It's hard to decide in this area where it's just a big mass where to demarcate what gets shadow and what gets light. I think this one actually, since it's so far, it's out there by itself, it would actually be lit up by the sun. But maybe this one is being shaded by its neighbor a little bit. Maybe not all the way. Little stuff like that. Ah, it's too much. It's too much shadow for a tiny space. I have the reference image up, but it's mostly for the color. I don't have a reference image specifically for this flower, so I'm having to make all these decisions just based on my existing knowledge and my imagination. So it's kind of tough. Oh, I see. I'm making it two different ones. I need to do this. That doesn't make sense. Okay, this is just gonna all be in shadow again. It's too hard. It's too confusing. These all go in shadow. You all go in the back in shadow. It's getting better and better. It's still a little bit too hard an edge all across. We've definitely improved it in the middle, but especially here and right here, it's just kind of abruptly becomes Shadowland. What I want is a nice soft transition. So maybe we'll do something like that. Over here we can add a little bit more shadow. See if that helped. Oh, and it's time. Yay! My brain's been working real hard today. But yeah, I think that's much better. Much more subtle transition, and this is just the first layer. We'll add even more shading later. In fact, I feel like bringing more shadow in right here would be good. On the bottomish, leftish side of this bloom. But it is time to end the stream, so let's save real quick. Yeah. Oh, we're making good progress. It's tough, but we're doing it. Alright, everyone. That is it for today's live stream. Thank you so much for spending this time with me and for everything you do to support Studio Mikarts. If you're new to my channel and want to see more, please follow Studio Mikarts on Twitch to get notified next time I go live. You can also support me by becoming a Twitch subscriber, joining my Patreon, or just sending some creative fuel through Buy Me a Coffee. All the links are in my Twitch About section and in the YouTube description if you're watching the recording. Tomorrow I will be back at the same time working on this same project, so I hope to see you then. But either way, let me wish you a wonderful rest of your day, and thank you for watching!